Now I want to turn to President Trump, accusing social media giants of violating free speech and seeking to punish those he says are treating him unfairly. Later today, the president is expected to sign an executive order that could target legal protections for companies like Twitter and Facebook, making them liable for their content on their platforms. This comes just days after Twitter took the unusual step of adding fact checks to President Trump's tweets about election fraud. The president claims that social media companies are trying to censor him and conservative voices in general. NBC's technology correspondent Jacob Board joins us now. Jacob, what is this all about?
Stephanie, this is about the protections that social media companies have always enjoyed under what's called Section 230. It's basically a provision that makes them what are called neutral platforms so that they are not legally liable for what goes out across them. And it's really the essence, I think, of what makes those companies tick. In this case, reporting to my colleague Peter Alexander and others here at NBC suggests that the White House is going to be issuing some sort of executive order that would change that liability, such that if a company like Twitter seeks to edit or in some way change content, then they no longer can be considered just a neutral platform, just putting out whatever's been put on them, and instead are considered some sort of publisher, and the rules then change. Now, it's not clear that this is a legally enforceable thing. There's a lot of debate in legal circles right now around whether that would be the case, but it's a big shot across the bow for social media companies that have really depended on that regulation to do what they do, Steph.
All right, Jake, thank you. I want to bring in Eli Stokols, White House reporter for the LA Times. Eli, over the last few years, both sides of the aisle, the American people, we have talked about regulating these platforms. But let's talk about what's happened in the last few days. Our president has tweeted or retweeted sexist slurs against Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi. He posted a picture of Joe Biden in a coffin. He spread unfounded conspiracy theories, straight up lies about former President Obama. He misled people about mail-in ballots, and he suggested our colleague Joe Scarborough was involved in a murder, which is obviously absolutely untrue. All of that happened in the last 7 days. None of that got taken down. So why are we going to war over this? What am I missing?
Well, you're not missing anything except, I guess, the hits keep coming, Steph. I mean, overnight, the president retweeted a Twitter user and a video clip of a person saying, "Death, the only good Democrat is a dead Democrat." And yet you pile all these things up, and the president still somehow comes away feeling like he is being censored somehow. Obviously, that is not the case. If they put one warning on one of his tweets, that is evidence in his mind and probably in his supporters' minds of bias against him and against conservatives, even though in totality there is nothing preventing this president from expressing himself all day and all night on these sites. And I think, one more thing, one more purpose that this serves, obviously, you look at the things that you ran through at the top of the show, the economic uncertainty in this country with 40 million people unemployed, the racial unrest that we're now seeing in Minnesota and in other places, and the ongoing pandemic that has now claimed 100,000 lives. This president this is his priority at a moment of deep national crisis. His own grievance against the company for a little warning or qualifier on one of his tweets tells you a lot about where his mind is at and a lot about what he wants the country to think about and not think about at this time.